This is Digivation Network.
There are growing concerns by some stakeholders over the current draft National Information Technology Development Agency Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, which seeks to convert the National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA) from a development to a regulatory agency. In this edition, NTS calls for rejection of the new NITDA bill in the special report. Also, the Consumer Electronics Show has featured biggest brand with every aspect of the sector at the CES Show 2023, setting the agenda on sustainability to help solve the world's greatest challenge, plus our trending news issues of the week. I welcome you to this edition of the show, Digivation Network, Africa's first and leading ICT and digital innovation program on television. I am Omoye Haza, standing in for Bayera Gabi. Stay with us. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has ordered deposit money banks to stock the new Naira note on their automated teller machines, ATM, with immediate effect. The CBN Director of Currency Operations, Ahmed Umar, made this known in Abuja at the training section for state directors of the National Orientation Agency. According to reports gathered by Digivation Network, Nigerians have expressed dissatisfaction of not being able to access the redesigned note since it was rolled out on December 15, 2022. CBN urges commercial banks in the country to make sure that they comply with the directive of loading the newly redesigned Naira note in a bid to boost circulation.
In its continued efforts towards achieving its mandate, Cloud Network Foundation executives, who are pioneers in Nigeria ICT media, met with FinTrack Software, one of the leading Pan-African financial software companies based in Nigeria, on collaboration to drive the development of ICT local content in order to strengthen the chances of Nigeria on the global tech ecosystem. With the focus on Nigerian local content development in ICT and its implication to national development, the executive president emphasized the need for the public sector to make effort on the laws and policies protecting Nigeria ICT ecosystem not to be the same tools that will harm its progress as the industry is government protected. The private sector were called upon to patronize services and products of Nigerian-made softwares and hardwares, as these can aid the rapid development of the sector in Nigeria. ICT vendors can deliver on international standards when challenged. Commenting on the roles of private and public sector on ICT local content development, FinTrack Software Managing Director Bimbo Abioye said that the Nigerian ICT vendors have what it takes to deliver at par with the foreign counterparts, especially in software development, even though capacity has been seen as one of the drawbacks of the sector. There is still need on enlightenment of growth prospects from the Nigerian ICT sector, getting its due chance to contribute to the repositioning of the sector, as the foundation will continue to advocate for local content adoption.
Google will impose a 16% value-added tax (VTA) on all taxable goods and services in Kenya on its platform starting February 1, 2023. The tech giant says it will collect tax on behalf of the government, raising the cost of products and services and tax information in compliance with local laws. Google has requested that Kenyan merchants update their tax information on the platform by submitting their Kenya Revenue Authority KRA PIN before February 1, 2022. Other companies, including LinkedIn, Netflix, and Spotify, has informed their customers of the impending VAT tax application. According to Google, failure to provide your PIN before the stipulated date may cause issues with voice validity and possible implications. In 2022, Google informed Nigerian users that it will begin collecting 7.5% VAT on April 1, 2022 to help the government increase revenue. What WhatsApp, Meta-owned instant messaging platform, now allows users to utilize proxy set of features to access the services in countries where internet shutdown happens quite frequently. The proxy server acts as an intermediary between users and web services, allowing users to bypass restrictions and censorship by functioning as a web filter. The launch proxy support will enable users to connect to WhatsApp through servers set up by volunteers and organizations around the world dedicated to help people communicate freely. Coming against the backdrop of internet shutdown in Iran, WhatsApp announced in a blog post that it came up with the support to give freedom to many users who are being denied the ability to reach out to their loved ones due to internet shutdowns. According to WhatsApp, Android and iPhone users will go through some process to connect to proxy servers whenever they have an internet shutdown. Share and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Hello, Agabi. Welcome you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is Digivation Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
Still to come, CES 2023 show, one of the most influential tech events in the world with breakthrough technologies and global innovations in agriculture and infrastructure that will change the world for the better. This event had in attendance 3,200 exhibitors from different countries and regions, including 1,000 startups and more than 70% larger than last year's event. Stay with us. Enjoy. The most influential tech event in the world with breakthrough technologies and global innovation. The Consumer Electronics Show features biggest brand in every aspect of the sector at the CES Show 2023 in Las Vegas, US, which sets the agenda on sustainability to help solve the world's greatest challenge.
CES 2023 will be full of innovation from some 3,200 different companies showing some of the most innovative products that are solving some of the most fundamental problems in the world. We'll have about 100,000 people and about 2.2 million net square feet of exhibit space.
The Consumer Technology Association, which hosts CES every year, had in attendance 3,200 exhibitors from 173 countries and regions, including 1,000 startups and more than 70% larger than last year's event. The president and CEO of CTO, Gary Shapiro, and CEO and chairman of John May, while addressing the attendees, shared the state of the industry and new innovation in agriculture and infrastructure that will change the world for the better. While CES has traditionally been a gadget show, in recent years it has evolved to also featuring cutting-edge industry technologies such as self-driving automobiles, artificial intelligence, blockchain and metaverse devices, digital health transportation technology, and many more. Share and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network. Thanks for being with us. You are watching Digivation Network. Up next is a special report. In this edition, one of the key industry voices that has called for the rejection of the proposed NITDA bill is the Nigeria Computer Society (NCS), the umbrella body of IT professionals and practitioners under the leadership of Professor Adeshina Sodiya. Says the NITDA bill lacks stakeholders' input and will lead to conflicting interest with the CPN Act and other agencies like the NCC. For more, here is the story. There are growing concerns by some stakeholders over the current draft National Information Technology Development Agency, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2021, which seeks to convert the National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA) from a development to a regulatory agency. The bill seeks to enact the act that will empower NITDA to provide for the administration, implementation and regulation of information technology systems and practice in Nigeria. However, some of the stakeholders are worried that the bill, if passed into law, will lead to overlapping regulatory functions between NITDA, the Computer Professionals Registration Council, otherwise referred to as CPN, and the existing telecom industry regulator, the Nigeria Communications Commission (NCC). One of such key industry voices that has called for the rejection of the NITDA bill is the Nigeria Computer Society (NCS), the umbrella body of IT professionals and practitioners under the leadership of Professor Adeshina Sodia. According to Sodia, the NITDA bill lacks stakeholders' input and will lead to conflicting interest with the CPN Act and other agencies like the NCC.
It shows from their activities that they didn't want to engage stakeholders at all. And let me also give us a little bit of background. This bill, when NIDA was to be set up, it was our members that developed the draft NIDA bill of 2007. NCS championed the establishment of NIDA. And we expected that when something is going to happen there, it should also engage us, it should involve us. The level of engagement we have seen we are not satisfied with it at all. In fact, there was no even a formal engagement with NCS on the issue of NIDA bill. And we are not happy. And of course, we have been engaging them, IT Development Agency, and we still at that point. And we need to encourage, support IT development in this country. We are not, and we expect NIDA to concentrate on that aspect.
Speaking further, the NCS president believes that CPN has been helping to ensure sanity in the practice of IT in Nigeria through its efforts at combating quackery and fake practices in the sector. A key reference, according to the NCS leadership, is given the fact that NITDA is supposed to be a developmental body from inception. Changing its functions into regulatory responsibility will not mean well for Nigeria and other agencies already playing such roles.
Well, in the last 1 year or two, together with CPN, we have been promoting IT professionalism in IT. We have been working so hard, like I said, to fight quackery and to bring all IT professionals. But of course, I want to mention to us that CPN is an agency of government, under the Federal Ministry of Education, established by Act Number 49 of 1993. And this organization, this council, CPN, is responsible for controlling and supervision of all persons and organizations involved in the use of computational machineries, IT tools, and other techniques related thereto, and provision of professional service in computing in this country.
Sodia further gives knocks to the bill, which it says calls for worry and serious concerns with the proposition that in the future, despite being a specialized agency, that a chief executive officer of NITDA would not need to necessarily be an IT professional among other contentious issues capable of derailing the gains of the industry so far.
Take some of the functions of other bodies, trying to make NIDA a monster in the IT ecosystem, trying to make NIDA to even be a player when he's supposed to actually be supporting and developing, So because of these reasons, the position of NCS is that that bill should be rejected by National Assembly.
As part of its regulatory preview, in its proposed bill and the inclusion of the concept of digital economy as part of its intended regulatory functions that seeks to expand NITDA frontiers to matters within the exclusive regulatory mandate of the NCC. The Nigeria Computer Society believes that this will impact the Commission's functions in Section 4 of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 that empowers the NCC to regulate communication services that drive the digital economy. With such a loud voice of opposition by the NCS, which is pivotal to the establishment of NITDA, the industry is waiting and watching how things will play out in 2023 before the current National Assembly and this election year.
This is AIT Infotech Network, reaching you from Freetown in Sierra Leone,
Accra, the Ghanaian capital, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Johannesburg in South Africa.
We are in Cairo in Egypt, Tunis, the financial capital,
Cape Town in South Africa.
reaching you from Dubai, Hanover in Germany, live from Chicago, Las Vegas in the United States of America, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. We are in Beijing, China, in London, England.
I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
If you're just joining us, this is Digivation Network, your first and leading ICT and digital innovation program on television. For details, please log on to www.digivationnetwork.com or watch us on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network, or better still, text the number on your screen. With a lot of issues that made news last year, each passing day passed by. Let us show you the news that made headlines in 2022. Here are the stories. Take a look. The election year provides opportunity for citizens to pay more attention to governance with a view to effecting better changes via the adoption of e-government processes, which is making more Nigerians interested in the process ahead of the 2023 general elections. This sets the tone for conversations at the Nigerian E-Governance Summit 2022, held recently at the Sheraton Hotels in Lagos, with a team promoting e-government in election year for improved governance. The event brought together technology service providers, multinational agencies, government at federal and state levels, while international experts discussed best practices deployed for good governance. The convener and the executive chairman, DigiServe Network Services, Engineer Larry Ajayi, harp on its importance and how governments can deploy and deepen technologies and service delivery in the country.
As you can see, the event is going well as planned. We have very distinguished speakers who have made very pertinent points on the relevance of technology in governance. So with their contribution, I think we are achieving the goals, some of the goals of the summit. So far it's going very well. Chose the theme of this summit to reflect the mood of the nation, which is about election. So that's why we chose the theme, promoting e-government in election years for improved governance.
In a bid to ensure information technology remains a vehicle to galvanize economic growth and development, as well as a way to establish veritable machinery for data management, privacy and protection in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy has officially launched the Nigerian Data Protection Bureau. The launch saw stakeholders in the information technology and digital economy ecosystem in attendance, including the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, as well as the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, who was represented by the Executive Commissioner of the NCC, Adeleke Adewolu, and member of the Senate Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity, Ibrahim Hassan Adija, among other CEOs and head of an agency and parastatals. In his remark, the minister stated the initiative stemmed from a bid to harness excellent laws and legislation on data protection, regulation, and also said the mandate of the Bureau is to ensure coordination of data privacy and security, as well as data confidentiality in Nigeria to protect citizens and legal residents of Nigeria, including private and public sector. Following the release of an article that shook the tech space in Nigeria, containing various allegations against Flutterwave, Nigeria's most valuable startup, and particularly against its CEO, Olubenga Agbola, bordering on fraud, perjury, and sexual harassment. Co-founder and former CEO of Flutterwave, Inioluwa Aboyeji, has reacted to the allegations against the company. In a chat with Digivation Network, Inioluwa speaks on his perspective.
I can be very honest with you and tell you that even as an insider, I'm not 100% aware of the counts or allegations. What I can tell you is my own point of view of it, and I think it's also helpful to keep in mind that our friend does have a history of embellished stories, and at the end of the day, there are already very, very clear facts that have been put out that are inaccurate. It's very clear that I did help co-found the company. There's evidence to that effect. It's very clear that process was followed with respect to specific opportunities within the company, and that we do enjoy very close collaboration with our banking partners at the time I was there. So there are, there are things that are already embellished, and so I think it would require those with the knowledge of the insight, as you call it, to actually be able to.
Elon Musk has taken a major stake in Twitter. Regulatory filings showed on Monday, sending the social media network stock soaring and igniting speculations he could seek an active role in its operations. Musk, the world's richest man and CEO of Tesla, is a frequent Twitter user who often posts controversial messages and announcements and has long been critical of the social media companies. In a recent post, he questioned Twitter's adherence to free speech and hinted at launching his own platform. According to a document filed with the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, the South African-born billionaire acquired nearly 73.5 million Twitter shares, a 2.9% stake in the company. Based on Friday's closing price of the company's stock, his investments amount to nearly $2.9 billion.
Section 84, subsection 12 constitutes a disenfranchisement of certain political office holders from voting or being voted for at conventions or congresses of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election in cases where it holds earlier than 30 days to the national election. The section provides as follows: no political appointee at any level shall be voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election. This provision has introduced qualification and disqualification criteria that alter various the Constitution by way of imposing blanket restriction and disqualification to certain political office holders, of which they are constitutionally accorded protection. The practical application of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Bill 2022 will, if assented to by operation of law, subject certain political office holders to inhibitions and restrictions referred to under Section 40 and 42 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. It is imperative to note that the only constitutional expectation placed on certain political office holders that qualify by extension as public officers within the context of the Constitution is resignation, withdrawal of retirement at least 30 days before the date of the election.
Facebook, Twitter, and Google have made moves to prevent their platforms from being weaponized by purveyors of misinformation about the crisis in Ukraine. Meta, Facebook's parent company, has announced a new special operation centered staffed by experts, including native Russian and Ukraine speakers, to monitor the social media network 24/7 to respond to issues in real time. The company also added features in Ukraine and Russia to help users protect information in their accounts. In addition, Meta stated it's taken extensive steps to fight the spread of misinformation by beefing up third-party fact-checking in Ukraine and Russia and providing more transparency around state-controlled media outlets. Twitter, too, announced steps to protect users during the crisis. In a series of tweets, it announced it was actively monitoring for risks associated with the conflict in Ukraine, including identifying and disrupting attempts to amplify false and misleading information. Meanwhile, YouTube, which is owned by Google, announced it was preventing some Russian companies, including state-operated news outlet RT, from making money off videos posted to the streaming video service, as well as restricting access to RT and some other channels in Ukraine.
Microsoft has opened a facility in Lagos for its African Development Center. The center, which is a $100 million investment by the multi-billion-dollar firm,
is where software engineering solutions is expected to be provided to Africa. The African Development Center is Microsoft's initiative in Africa for an engineering center to provide local solutions with global scalability, as well as provide employment opportunities and further enhance technological innovations in the continent. At the launch ceremony on Monday, the company said the center will now be based in its new ultra-modern state-of-the-art facility at the King's Tower on Clover Road, Ikoyi, housing the product engineering, ecosystem development, and innovation teams. Welcome back, and thanks for being with us so far on the journey. This is Digivation Network with Bayero Agabi.
This is AIT Infotech Network, reaching you from Freetown in Sierra Leone,
Accra, the Ghanaian capital,
Addis Ababa in Ethiopia,
Johannesburg in South Africa,
we are in Cairo in Egypt,
Tunis, the financial capital,
Cape Town in South Africa.
reaching you from Dubai,
Hanover in Germany, live from Chicago, Las Vegas, United States of America, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. We are in Beijing, China, in London, England.
I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
That's the show for the week. On the next edition of the show, please reach us for details via this platform, www.digivationnetwork.com, or watch us on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/digivationnetwork, or better still, you can text that number on your screen. Until then, I am Omoye Haza. Stay safe and bye.